month on The Mix, we go up close as kids get a fully immersive history lesson. FAQ breaks down the latest parking guidelines. Then a local diversity group brings the community together. And we head out and about on horseback. The Mix starts right now.
Every fall, thousands of elementary students learn a little more about Minnesota's history. Not in a classroom, but out here at the Wargo Nature Center. I'm Dan Carpenter, and today we go up close with the pioneers of Minnesota Heritage Lab. More than 160 years ago, household chores were more hands-on.
Yeah, I'd rather the washing machine.
I don't know even how to hang it.
These children are learning that early settlers to Minnesota led very busy lives.
So I want you to think of those chores that you do today, and we're going to compare to some of the things that had to be done back in 1858.
For 4 weeks in the fall, the Rice Creek chain of lakes parks becomes an outdoor, immersive classroom.
Yay, this works.
These pioneers and settlers for a day will learn more about everyday life around the year Minnesota became a state by visiting 7 different stations.
There's a new topic at each one related to the theme for the year. So the kids get to be interactive, there's activities with what they're doing and learning about cool, unique things related to this place here in Minnesota and the history of the people here.
If you only brought 2 things, I would bring this pot, a Dutch oven, and some kind of knife.
11-year-old Monica Weber is learning what early settlers ate and how food was made.
Cheese and butter?
Cheese and butter. If you had cream and a spoon with a hole in it or some other kind of arrangement, just kind of do this for a couple hours and eventually you'd have butter from that cream.
It wasn't like going to the grocery store.
You had to go make it or kill something to eat it.
The landscape, tools, and clothing used at these teaching stations are carefully researched to provide an authentic experience.
We work with Historical Society and other groups. We usually take a staff field trip during the summer to make sure, we're up on our history and using best practices.
Bread, 3 times a day, just like us. People love bread.
I kind of wish I was back then, and I kind of wish now, because now it's fun, but I think it would be kind of fun to just go into the wild and just survive.
1 through 15 over here, 16 through 30 out here, 16 through 30.
But life back then wasn't only about survival.
Run, 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 run!
A game called Rounders, brought to Minnesota with early immigrants, would eventually become the game we know as baseball today.
Rounders came from England and people played it in different towns. One town would play the game a certain way, and then the next town over, they would play it a little different. So we eventually got a name of what we call town ball because all these different towns play differently.
Heritage Lab has evolved over the years as well. Since its inception in 1993, more facilities have been added.
We'll use it as a teaching station, so there are doorways on 3 sides that open up so we can utilize it as a cabin type structure.
But a rustic feel has been maintained.
Part of the reason it's still here and is still so popular is it's a great opportunity for students to get out of the classroom, get outdoors and be active and really practice living in history.
Students from Anoka County, Forest Lake, and Elk River school districts and homeschool families sign up for Heritage Lab in the spring. The cost is $5 for each young pioneer, with a grant from Connexus Energy covering the rest.
It gives students that chance to have sort of that more authentic experience for what it's like and understand, our ancestors or other people who are living here, what they went through and how that shaped our history. And also because, most of us are coming from Wargo Nature Center, we have that environmental focus. We like to focus on how people interacted with the land. And I think a lot of those ideas for how people did historically really ties into how we do today still.
See if you recognize this noise.
Really cool. It sounds Australian.
So the jaw harp, believe it or not, is one of the oldest instruments in the world. It has been dated back to the year 300 BC.
These lessons are more than informative. They're engaging.
Start with the basic rhythm.
I think history is really fun and exciting, and to see what people did back when.
Oh, I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
And they get really into it. You know, we want them to learn, but we also want them to have a great time doing it.
Oh, Susanna, why don't you cry for me?
Heritage Lab will be back again next fall with a new theme. But all winter long you'll find wildlife programs and fun ways to explore the outdoors. I'm Dan Carpenter, bringing you up close to art, history, and culture.
Since November 1st, winter parking rules have been in effect in the city of Coon Rapids. This means overnight parking is not allowed on any city street during the winter months, which helps the streets department stay ahead of the game in the battle against snow.
A big part of my job in the wintertime is paying attention to the weather.
As the snow falls outside, inside, street supervisor Josh Peterson tracks the weather.
I use multiple channels, apps, resources to try and figure out when the snow may be coming in, the amount of snow, the amount of precip, the length it's going to be.
2018 marked Peterson's first year on the job in Coon Rapids.
Last year we had 14 what we call full snowplow events. That entails leading up to the event that we've already made the decision that we're going to call in a full crew. That consists of all of our large plows, cul-de-sac plows, and sidewalk machines.
Inside the city garage, trucks are turned into snow plows. These plow trucks are the city's front line of defense.
We have 12 plow trucks. We have 11 plow routes, so we do keep a spare truck for breakdown. We use 3 front end loaders to do cul-de-sacs.
As a proactive measure in the battle against winter, the winter parking ban in Coon Rapids was passed by city ordinance some 40 years ago. The rules are in effect from November 1st through April 1st. No parking is allowed on the street from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Parking is also prohibited on public streets anytime when the weather forecast shows there could be 3 inches of snow or more, or until the street has been plowed from curb to curb.
Because we never know when a storm's going to come through. Some people may be on vacation, they may think they can leave their car there. If we didn't enforce a 2 to 6 parking, we would certainly run into more problems than we already have.
And when you're pre-wetting, you don't want to go fast because you want the spray to make a nice pattern on the road.
Public Works employee Bill Neek has spent the past 10 years working on the city streets. He knows the challenges snowplow drivers face firsthand.
Kind of like right here where this guy has his truck parked out, you have to turn the plow, work your way around. Now I'm getting bumped up on the curb on the other side to get around it, and basically my front tire is up against the other side of the curb.
If a vehicle is blocking the path of a snowplow after an accumulation of 3 inches of snow or more, it may be ticketed and or towed. Parking can resume on the street once it has been plowed from curb to curb, but still no parking from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. between November and April 1st.
A lot of times we will try giving warnings, but if there's a major snow event and we need to get through somewhere, the police will ticket and they will also tow at the owner's expense.
In cases where there's a snowfall of less than 3 inches, the city will still have plows out.
Anything less than 3 inches, we typically focus on our arterial roads, which are our main connector streets to county roads and state highways.
When people park in the street during a snowfall, it can cause storm drainage problems, or even worse, hazardous bumps in the road.
Anytime there's an upcoming potential of a snow event, we would ask that residents do everything they can to not park in the street.
It's a team effort for all of us to do our part to make it through another winter.
It helps out with multiple issues. We're able to get out there, we're able to plow curb to curb, we're able to plow salt and other materials to have a clear roadway.
For anyone who parks in the street during a snow event, the Streets Department will be handing out these yellow flyers as a reminder of the winter parking rules and to ask for your help. You can also sign up on the city's website to receive emails on the latest snow plowing updates when crews will be doing a full plow in residential areas. And now we'll join Steve Erickson, who's on the path to finding good.
It was just ingrained in me from an early age that you treat people with kindness and respect.
Once a month,
so they won't let you, express yourself or speak about what you know.
Voices representing many different backgrounds.
And what country did you grow up in again?
Oh, South Sudan.
Come together inside the Coon Rapids Civic Center to listen and learn.
What we're called Transformative Circle. It has to do with culture, it has to do with neighbors, it has to do with just people from the community that want to meet others, and doesn't have to be nearby the Civic Center where it's held.
Elsa Levine is one of the regulars at the monthly Transformative Circle meetings. She's also a board member.
I got to know now an incredible group of people that otherwise, I would never have the chance.
Excuse me, everybody. Hello, welcome. I'm Lori Anderson. The group is made up of, we have maybe 10 people on the board, and they're all different kinds of people, and the people that come to the dinner meetings, again, all different kinds of people. Tonight we have probably half the people there haven't been to a meeting before.
And just share one thing.
Lori Anderson helped found the nonprofit group back in 2014. It started in a meeting room at the YMCA and eventually moved to the Civic Center, where a meal is now incorporated into the gatherings.
We serve dinner. We provide the dinner. It's buffet style, and you just load up your plate, find a place to sit with people you don't know. There are question cards on the table that pertained to the topic that night, and that's to facilitate conversation, and we just go.
Even now, the women came in America.
On any given night, 24 or more people gather at these tables, sharing stories, culture, and making new friends.
Before I joined this group, if I want to meet friends, I have to drive either in Austin, Minnesota, or Albert Lee, or St. Cloud, or even Mankato, where the most, Sudanese people live there. I can go and talk to the friend. But now I'll be able to call one of these people I met in Transformative Circle.
She needed her blacknicity back.
Sometimes the discussions are so informative and engaging, those sitting around the table don't want them to end.
I know there was a group last year at the December meeting, and in the middle of the discussion, in the middle of the evening, I asked everybody to get up and change tables. We want to mix it up a little bit so that you're not spending the whole evening talking to the same people. And one group way in the back of the room said, "No, we're in the middle of something, leave us alone." And they continued their discussion on faith. After that, they started meeting for coffee.
But some of the traditions, I think it helps build community.
As Transformative Circle continues to attract new members, mostly by word of mouth, some recent publicity is also helping. In October, Lori Anderson received the Friend of the League Award from the ABC chapter of the League of Women Voters. The award was given to Anderson in recognition for her work founding this diverse group.
It was huge to get the recognition, and I didn't do it on my own. I have a board of directors, and all the people that come to these meetings, they're a huge part of making it a success.
I think Lori's doing a great job with it. I think she puts her heart and soul into making this happen. I believe it was a bit of a struggle to get things going and off the ground to start with, but now it's gotten some traction, and it's starting to gain.
She just wanted to bring the diversity together, because we use the word in America, diversity, but we never put it into the pieces. The puzzle is always one thing is missing. But for Lori, she kind of putting it together and make the people you can talk to your stranger,
As the night winds to a close, they end much like they start, in a circle, sharing without judgment, fear, or hate. A lesson for all of us, that we may not be so far apart after all.
People are afraid of each other. They're afraid of people that don't look like them or talk like them. They're afraid of Muslims. They have certain preconceptions about atheists, about different political sides of the political aisle. And once you actually sit down and start talking with somebody, it just opens up a whole new world for you.
I believe that the more we know about each other, the more we find out that we're really similar in a lot of ways. Rather than trying to divide us up by the color of our skin or by our age or whatever, we're trying to bring people together and find out what we do have in common.
If you really look at it in our Facebook, Transformative Circle, Coon Rapids, you can see why. It's leadership, it's friendliness, it's inclusion, it's diversity, and it's community. And that's what she's trying to do. She's building community.
Transformative Circle meets the first Thursday of the month between September and May. The meetings run from 6 to 8:30 p.m. You can learn more about the group by logging on to transformativecircle.org or by checking out their Facebook page. Everyone is welcome at the table.
Taylor Troffler was 9 when she first got on a horse. Now she works with them every day at Bunker Park Stable.
I like working with the horses. They're probably my favorite coworkers. They work hard for us. We ask a lot of them, having new people on every hour, and they really do well for us.
Inside Bunker Hills Regional Park, this stable offers trail rides, sleigh rides, and lessons right on the Andover-Coon Rapids border.
At Bunker Park Stable, we work with a lot of beginner and novice riders. So we have an ongoing lesson program. The kids come once a week for an hour-long lesson. They groom and saddle their own horse to get them ready, and then they take them into the arena to ride. We do have horse-drawn sleigh rides and hay rides in the fall. Those, you could just bring out your group or your family, make a reservation ahead of time, and then those are 45 minutes long. We also do 1 hour long guided trail rides, and that's kind of what we're known for. We do those all year long, so as long as the footing is okay, it's not too icy, we'll take the horses out there.
On a snowy day in November, I prepare for my very first time on horseback.
This is the one we use first. This is our curry comb, and this one goes in circular motions, and it gets all the dirt and the extra hair, loose hair, up to the surface of the coat, so that when we go over it with the brush, we can flick it all off.
Yeah. Do they enjoy this? I mean, do the horses enjoy this, do you think? Or
yeah, for the most part. We never want to put this over like their spine or the bony parts of their body, just because that would be like rubbing it over your knuckles. Eventually it wouldn't feel so good, but they do like it. It's kind of like a massage for them.
Once the horses are groomed and saddled, up we go.
So Sarge will be ridden with one hand. You can hold with your thumb on top, just like that.
Instructions for a first-time rider are fairly brief.
Just leave your hand rested in front of the saddle horn.
And then we're off. Bunker Park Stable has 8 miles of trail for year-round horseback riding. Trail rides start at $42 a person for anyone 8 or older. One of the most popular offerings is the lesson program for kids, which often has a wait list. For Taylor, it's the summer camps, which are the most fun.
I love teaching the day camps in the summer. The kids come out here and they get assigned a horse to be with for a week. Oh, they love that. And then at the end of the week, they cry when they have to leave their horse. And I remember being in day camp when I was little, and I did the same thing.
Once a student, now she is the teacher, sharing her love of horses with visitors every day.
I feel really lucky to be able to work out here. There's not a lot of jobs out in this area with horses, so I feel blessed to be able to work with them every day.
Well, I'd say my first trail ride was a success. If you'd like more information about the offerings here, check out bunkerparkstable.com. Riding on Sarge, I'm Jennifer Anderson for Out and About.
Do you have an idea you'd like to see on The Mix? Drop us an email at themix@ctncoonrapids.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.